another live coaching with Windsurfing Masterclass and me, Graham Ezzy. How was your week? How was your week? What is going on? Did you get on the water? Did you sail? Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the chat. Um, I did not sail, but I am going up to Denmark again this week. I'm going to spend a bit of time up there. I'm not sure what the forecast is doing. Maybe I'll get conditions, maybe not, but I will definitely get on the water, even if it's just a bit of freestyle. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, what else is going on in the Windsurfing Masterclass world? Well, if you want to sign up for an in-person masterclass, go to windsurfingmasterclass.com, go apply here, and you can see we've got masterclasses coming up in Morocco in June, Gran Canaria in July, and then Maui in September. And these are going to be great weeks. They're already filling up. So if you are interested, I recommend signing up now. So make sure that you've got a spot. All right, let's get into the group. So let's sort by new posts. Again, I read everything that's posted in the group. So if you have a question, a concern, a comment, a video, any of the above, post it in the group. And yeah, I'll read it, answer it, talk about it on the live coaching every Sunday at this time. All right, Christoph, 3 sessions this week. Whew, awesome. Getting ready for Morocco. We've got Jorg as well with 3 sessions. Whew, you guys are on it. Jorg is working on the flockas. We're also doing a flocka masterclass, the flocka workshop. It's already closed. I'll do it again. So this course is going to last for 3 months, and then I'm not sure when I'll open it up and do another workshop, but Jorg got into the first group, and yeah, we had our Zoom session last week, Friday, and he's already doing the exercises on the water, and that is so cool. I love it. We got Axel as well. Axel is also joining the Morocco Masterclass, and he just had a perfect session in Morocco. Six perfect sessions this week. It's insane. Ragnar had 1 session yesterday, and something interesting happened. All right, let's get to it. That's what is on the screen here. Light wind and current. Yesterday, I was sailing a place called Rolsund, north of Stockholm. It was northerly wind and therefore straight on shore. The place has a river, Dalavan, that flows out against the wind on the west side of the beach. He went out on a 5-5, which was not enough to get planing. However, in the location where the river flows out, he was able to get on a plane. The reason was certainly not because of stronger wind, but because he got 2 knots of current pushing on the fin, hence a slight positive force, enough to get going. He experienced the opposite on beaches with current going sideways and in the same direction as the wind. And there's a lot of places like this around the world. The first 20 meters to the break are different because you drift sideways. Yes. So what matters is the relative wind speed, not just the total wind speed. And so if you have a lot of current in one direction or the other, it cancels out the wind because there is relatively less wind. So if the water is moving in the direction of the wind, 2 knots, and you have 20 knots, it's going to feel like 18 knots. If the current is moving against the wind, it's going to feel like 22 knots. And in fact, Ragnar makes a good point here because I've always thought about it in terms of just relative wind, but he's bringing up the fin, and that's interesting. So the water is a lot denser than the air, obviously, and so you get a lot more lift from things that are in the water. That's why foils work, right? Hydrofoils work because the water is dense, and you're creating a lot of lift with the small foil. You don't need as big a wing as you would need in the air to lift. And so I wonder if current is actually providing more effect than whatever its strength is. So if you have a 2-knot current, is that going to add more than 2 knots? to the wind if it's against the wind, or is it going to add less? Like, is it going to take away maybe 5 knots if it's going the same direction as the wind? This, by the way, is a phenomenon that we all know. If you sail beach breaks, if you sail a lot of spots around Europe, you get current on the inside. Excuse me. Excuse me. You get current on the inside and cancels out the wind. Happens in a lot of places. Happens at Hokipa. Happens at Kanaha. Happens in Zilt. But yeah, I wonder if the density affects it as well. Interesting question. We got Suna as well, and he had 2 surprise sessions this week. And excuse me, hold on. I'm just gonna blow my nose here. Hold on. Let me just mute myself. All right, I'm back. Back to the chat. So Rasmus is on Silt, had an unexpected surfing session. Silt is one of the places where you do get the current having a big effect. Axel says not all the sessions were perfect. All right, let's get down. So Eric says perhaps a bit weird, but he's somewhat more impressed by the easy tricks that some of the pros do. He recently saw me do a sail body 360 coming in on a wave. That was in the Flocka workshop from last week. And in the last Aloha, Kai Lenny threw a grubby as he finished his ride. Byrne did the Spock on a wave. Thomas Traversa did a wheelie skipper. Why does that impress him? Because it's not what they go out to train, and yet they still got them nailed and can throw them casually, even in demanding situations. Yeah, so a lot of these moves. Oh, we got Harold in the chat. Hello, Harold. A lot of these moves, once you get them, are pretty easy. It's funny, like with the Spocks. Like I'll occasionally throw Spocks on the outside or Hokipa, and I'm just used to landing them. But then I had a session on the freestyle board, the same one where I was filming for the Flocka course, and I crashed my first 3 or 4 Spocks, and then I was making them. But that was a weird feeling. It was a weirder feeling to crash them than not crash them, because with those moves, it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you get them, you can do them. And the hardest part is just learning how to do them with these moves. And all of us, whether it's me or Thomas or Kai, we spent some time learning a bit of freestyle when we were younger, and once you can do them, you can do them. And then also I would add that part of what makes a pro, because we're spending so much time in the water and doing so many different things, is that we have a lot of sail body board awareness. And that sail body board awareness translates into other things. So like, for example, I don't think I've ever trained ducking the sail like they do in freestyle, but the few times that I've tried doing it, switch stance, like really trying to do it, I've been able to do it. I can do duck tacks, and it's not that different than a duck tack. Maybe if I couldn't do duck tacks, that would be a different story. But the point is that for some of these moves, it's a lot about having a certain awareness more than anything else. And so one of the reasons that the Flocka is such a difficult move, and I do think it is the most difficult move, and if you talk to pro freestylers, as I have, and you ask them what the hardest move was for them to learn, they'll often say the Vulcan or the Flocka. Those are the 2 answers that I get the most. And that's a funny response because those are in some ways pretty basic moves. But the reason they're difficult is you have to learn how to interact with the gear in a new way. And so it's about building that sail body board awareness. Now, if you have a lot of sail body board awareness because you're a pro that's sailing in the waves, and you get sail body board awareness from wave riding, from jumping, from doing all these things, then the hard part of those moves isn't so hard, because it's a lot about just that awareness of where you are relative to the board, how you can move your sail through the wind, all of those things. Like the Flocka, the main reasons it's hard is that you have to be on top of the board in a way that you're not used to doing otherwise, rather than being on your heels. And that makes it hard. And there's a few other things that make it hard, but that's one of the main reasons. So once you can do these moves, so there's two aspects to it. One, once you can do these moves, then it's kind of like riding a bike. You can do them. And the other, and this is, I think, a more interesting point for our group, is that sail body board awareness is very important, and it translates. And so if you're working on your freestyle, it's also going to translate into improving your jumps, into improving your wave riding, because there's a certain amount of sail body board awareness that translates across all these different moves and aspects. And so the better you can do at your freestyle moves, it's also going to improve your wave tricks, and it's going to improve your jumps. And so all of these things are connected, and it's that sail body board awareness. Yeah, cool. All right, next up is a question from me, and we've got a lot of responses already. So what is your experience with custom boards? I was just having a WhatsApp chat with Windsurfing Masterclass alumnus about whether or not he should buy a custom board, which is also one of the benefits if you do join one of the Windsurfing Masterclasses, and we do have some spaces left, Morocco, Gran Canaria, and Maui, get a little bit more access to me. And anyway, so he was asking me about custom boards, and super interesting because as we can see here, some people really like it. Some people bought one and hated it. Some people, it's more complicated. And I'm going to give you my thoughts in a second, but I just want to throw it out to the chat. Is anyone in the chat someone who's bought a custom board? And if so, what was the experience like? We got Max in the chat. Rasmus says that the vectors, it's all linear, so the vectors are easy to sum up for the current and wind. So it doesn't matter that the water is more dense, it's just all easy peasy. So like what, if you have the, Rasmus, if you have the current going directly opposite the wind, let's say it's a 20 knot wind and a 2 knot current, what is the perceived feeling? Is it 22? All right. So I still want to hear from you guys in the chat about the custom boards, but I'm going to start talking about customs. I ride a lot of custom boards, and I would be pissed. By the way, we got Max in the chat. I don't know if I mentioned that. Mike says yes to custom boards. Okay, so I ride a lot of custom boards. Not all the boards that I ride are custom. In Europe, I'm primarily using the production decurve boards. I really love them. I was involved in developing these models, and I love them in all conditions. Even on Maui, they work. But Maui is really different, and some of the other places as well that I go are also really different. But Maui is really different, and so boards that are made for the general public don't work as well for Maui as custom boards do, as boards that are made for the place. But the problem is that customs are kind of a bit of a magic like thing, and sometimes they're not good. And so if you're saving up your money and you're just going to get one custom, it's a bit of a crapshoot. What I mean by that is a bit of a gamble. It's like rolling the dice. And so like when I was like, now I'm not competing full time, so I don't have the big board budgets anymore. But like when I was competing full time, when I was getting, let's say, somewhere around 10 boards a year, and something like 6 of those were customs, there was room. If 1 or 2 of them were bad, it didn't really matter. And there was overlap in what they were being made for. So I'd get maybe 4 Hokipa boards and then 2 different European boards or something to supplement the productions that I was using in the competitions in Europe. But then of those 4 boards, like imagine like getting 4 boards a year just for the one spot. Not all of them are going to be great, And in fact, I'm riding a board. You see me in the videos of Hokipa. I've got this white board that's from maybe like 2018 or 2017. And I love that thing. And I've tried to get it copied. I've tried, Fabian Bullenweider, who shaped it, the shaper from Taboo, has tried to make a copy of it, which is okay, but not as good as the original one. And so I'm still on this old board. Maybe it's 7 years old. I've had a lot of boards since then. And some of them I really like, and some of them are really interesting, but I keep going back to this one. And so my short answer when people ask me if they should get a custom board is it depends. Do you have the budget and the patience and the mental fortitude for that one board to be a dud and then you get another one? And if you really want a custom board, something for a specific place or for a specific weight, is there someone or somewhere where you can try custom boards and then find one you like, and maybe it was made for someone else? So if you go to Maui, you can try boards. You can try my boards. You could try Levi's boards. Like, because we're all getting a lot of boards, I'm not getting that many boards this year or last year, but before I was getting a lot. And there are a lot of guys who are getting a lot of boards, and so you can try the extra boards that they're selling and find something that works for you. And that brings us back to the question of why get a custom. And there are a few obvious reasons. One is if you're windsurfing a place that is different than what production boards are made for. So Hokipa is a powerful, steep wave. Most production boards are not made for that. You need more rocker. Most boards are made with a flatter rocker because they get planing more easily. And a lot of the surf magazine tests are about how quickly boards get planing. And so a lot of production boards are made with a flatter rocker that also helps you get around in the onshore conditions like are common in Europe, but they don't work in Hokipa. And so Hokipa is a place where you want to have a custom board. But if you're sailing maybe somewhere in Europe where there is a lot of production board testing, maybe Tenerife, it might not make sense to get a custom board. So what's another reason? If your weight is in a range, we don't make boards for your shape. So maybe you're on the smaller side or the bigger side. Most of the boards that are made are between 75 and 95 liters. Maybe you want something outside of that range, or maybe between numbers. So maybe the production boards are 85 and 95 and you want a 90, right? Those are all reasons to get a custom. Otherwise, it really depends. I mean, we can all get, or you guys could get boards that just really suit your style to experiment. There's a lot of good reasons to get a custom, different shapes, can really play around. But, and then also about construction as well. Depends where you're getting them made, but sometimes they can be made also stronger and lighter. So that's another reason. But my point still stands that because there is this variance, unless you're able to just let go and say, oh, yeah, this one I got is not great. I'm going to get another one. I'm going to sell this one. I'm going to get another one. I don't think it's for you. Like, I think just saving up to buy a custom board and that's like one and done, the one board you get, and it's for you, I don't recommend you do that. What I recommend then is if you really outline what you're looking for, why you want a custom board or a production board, try to find someone that fits your profile and try to buy a used one so that you can try it and make sure it is what you want. Mike in the chat says, yes, customs. Hello, Mike. Axel says his 105 is a custom board and he loves it. We got Dom Dom in the chat. Max says he has 2 custom boards from Moo. And to be honest, the ability, weight conditions, be honest about your ability and weight conditions. Otherwise, you're wasting money. Yeah, good points. All right. Yeah. Rasmus, this is about our earlier discussion. Interesting. Good to know. Christoph says that he tried a friend's custom Flicka, was impressed how loose it was, but it was a very demanding board. Interesting. Mike says he had customs in the 80s and 90s and they had great shapes for their conditions. Yeah. This is another cool, helpful thing. If you have a local shaper, I love local shapers. Unfortunately, there are fewer local shapers than there were in the 80s and 90s. But if you have a local shaper who knows your local break and your local waves and is good, they're going to be making something that is specific to your spots. And if you're not traveling, because think of what goes into making a production board, right? A production board is tested in a bunch of places and it's made to work in a bunch of places for a bunch of different kinds of people. And if you are just one person, you're not sharing your board with some friends, and you're sailing in just one spot, you're not traveling around to a bunch of different places, a more specialized board might be better. Now, that doesn't mean the production boards are bad. So like I use the decurves, the Taboo decurves. I love them. And what I love about them is that I can take them anywhere. I can ride them down the line. I can ride them in onshore. I can ride them in Cape Town, Canary Islands, Denmark. They're great boards. I know other people have really good experiences with the Quattros, and not all production boards are going to be like that where they work for you everywhere. But for me, the decurves do that, and I know other people are really happy with the Quattros. And I'm not trying to get into a bunch of board brand discussions. The point is that there's a logic behind the production boards. Axel says he thinks it's important to talk to the shaper and be really honest about where you sail and what you want. Yes. We've got Tavi saying he's had two made to his specs, and he loved both, but they were expensive. Both amazing for his riding style. Rasmus says custom is expensive and you must have a lot of trust in the shaper. I'm very true about the ability and the conditions. And we got Kevin in the chat. Yeah, so interesting. And if you have an experience with custom boards that you'd like to share, put it in the chat and in the comments. Vote. I think it's really interesting discussion. All right. Here's a little video that I made about what it's like to level up on a masterclass. So let's pause that for a second. Can you guys hear the music when I play it? Does the music play? All right, I'm going to play it and shut up. And then we'll talk about the video. All right, Kevin says no music, so I'm just going to start talking over this thing then. You guys can watch it in the chat. Yeah, so someone asked me what it's like on the master classes and if I could show it. And it's a difficult question to answer. And a lot of you guys have been on the master classes, so I'm preaching to the choir, as we say in English. You don't need to be told what it's like. But a lot of people do ask me what it's like. And it's hard for me to explain it because, yeah, there's these things that we do. Like we do the warm ups and we do dry land exercises and we do footage review. And then there's all this action on the water. Everything gets filmed. But it's also something more. Like there's what I'm trying to do is to create a feeling of camaraderie, also intense training, like is the experience I had when I was a pro and competing full time on the world tour. And then also to show you how to train, get you thinking about riding waves and windsurfing in a different way in all aspects of your life. So it's not just about where your hand is on the boom, it's about how you're scheduling windsurfing into life, what your goals are, how to achieve those goals. And what I really hope is that people come to windsurf better, but then come out of it with some plans to have a happier, healthier life, and in a way that windsurfing can help them do that. So it's quite a broad goal. Hard for me to explain. This is a little bit of it. So anyway, so this was in answer to someone asking. And if you want to apply, we've got spots in the second week of Morocco, in Gran Canaria, and on Maui. Um, All right, we got a question here. Dom Dom says, for volume calculation, it would be nice if all shapers and stock brands use the same calculations or marketing involved in the official volume. Yeah, this is a bit of an issue because like imagine a brand has let's say it's an 85 liter board, and then they're doing some testing and oh, it's better if it's a bit narrower, oh, and maybe a bit shorter, and it ends up losing a liter or two. They're still going to call it an 85 because that's what fits in their range. And so you end up with a little bit of play. Um, like I know there are some jokes, I don't want to out any brands, but there are some jokes that like um, there's one brand and I remember I was talking to the shaper and their 90, I can't remember, it was not a brand I've ever sailed for, but I think it was like their 98 was actually like a 105 liter board. And he's like, yeah, but the guy that's buying a 98 actually wants a 105. And it was just so funny to hear that as an explanation. But yeah, so the volume isn't always correct, which is crazy. We got Jeff in the chat, gonna sail a 3.15. Is that what you're telling us, Jeff? That it's insanely windy? That it's blowing its tits off? Wow. All right, we got Miko. What would be the easiest tricks to practice on wave riding in the onshore conditions? No jumps. What moves to start practicing as an intermediate wave rider? How to spice up the wave riding? I love this question. This is such a good question. I think I'm the only one that's answered, but it's a great, great, great question. And I should do some more tutorials. That's a great idea. So easy tricks is not the taka. Someone mentioned the taka. Takas are hard. Clue first, wave riding. So how do you get into that? You switch the sail like in a jibe, and then you can ride the wave. Clue first. It's really cool because it opens up your view of the wave. So it changes how you can interact with the wave, in addition to changing how you're interacting with the wind. Very cool. Lee side riding. So that's where you get on the other side of the sail. This is something I encourage everyone to do. I know some people are kind of hesitant because they're like, oh, it doesn't look that cool. It is cool. Lee side riding is cool. In the beginning, when you're falling in and whatever, okay, it's not, but you do it on a big wave going left. It's sick. It's great. Also helps your tacks, helps your awareness, understanding of the sail. So you go into that like you're going to attack. Just work on your backside wave riding. So doing backside aerials, backside turns is really good to do in onshore conditions and something that's really underdone. Uh, and then if you want to improve your backsides, there's two directions you can go. So you can go for the lay down backside where you're really getting the sail down, you're like almost touching the water with the sail, or the hard smacking backsides where you're really doing an off the lip going backside and trying to smash that lip, going backside or carving going backside where the mast is more upright. But all of those are great things to do in onshore conditions. The clue force wave riding, lee side wave riding, backside wave riding. I'm realizing now I should make videos of all these things to help clarify what I mean. Let's find some good backside wave riding. There used to be a video of Josh and Gulo doing backside wave riding in Gran Canaria, and I wonder if we can find that. Here's a backside aerial. At least we can look at what backside aerials look like. Who do we want to look at? We can look at a lot of these. All right, most of these are from Pozo. The only one that's not from Pozo is this one, so let's look at it. All right, I gotta move my... I know, I gotta move my thing. Hold on. All right. Kind of a weird one. I'm not crazy about this. I like Class. Class is a great windsurfer, but this is more of a shove it than a backside aerial. It's still fine. No complaints. Let's see if we can get a proper backside aerial, though. This looks like a proper backside aerial. Yeah, on the smaller side. But I love how he's throwing the sail down, hitting the lip, getting air. So you want to know the steps for doing this? tell you, it's pretty easy. I'm going to make a course about backside riding probably at some point because I think it's so important. So look out for that. But you put the sail back and your body forward. So sail to tail, body to nose. And then you're looking at the lip. You make the high five contact just like you would do going frontside. So the high five is the angle of the board to the direction of the power of the wave, right? And so look at how he changes, adjust the angle of the board. So he's carving up into the wave like this. Oh, shit. But then he changes the angle of the board so that the bottom of the board directly accepts the power of the wave. And that's the high five. And then as soon as that happens, the sail pushes to the nose and the body pushes in this area here. And you get thrown upright again. All right, let's watch more of these. This is fun. This looks, just from the still photo, looks more like a shove it. It's still nice, but yeah, it's more of a shove it. Let's watch Mark's. I want to see contact with the lip. There we go. That's a bit more off the lip. And he's really exaggerating what we're talking about when I talk about sail to tail, body to nose. And then as he comes up off the lip, the sail pushes to the nose and the body goes back. It feels like the body's going to the tail, but if you look at it, it's more like the body is going in this direction perpendicular to the board, but the feeling is actually like the body's leaning towards the tail. Here's Alex Mussolini, very similar to the one we just saw. Let's watch one more. These are all similar because they're all from Pozo. I like this one. It's a little bit of a different section. Are we going to get a second one? Look at this. We got two on one wave. This is great. This is great. So this is something to aspire to. Look, you can really see sail to tail, body to nose, get the high five, and then the body leans. It really feels like the body's leaning towards the tail, but what's actually happening is the body's leaning perpendicular to the board, and the sail is being pushed forward towards the nose of the board. I think that can get really lost when you just look at this. You think, oh, you're just pushing down against the sail, but actually the feeling is that the sail is pushing towards the nose of the board, but then it gets stopped because the wind comes on the other side, right? You're getting backsided. So the sail actually never goes in the direction of the board, but the power that you're pushing with the body is pushing it towards the nose of the board, and that's what pushes you upright. And so that's a mistake I think that people make because they look at these pictures and it looks like everything's just being pushed forward, but that's not actually what's happening. And same, beautiful here. Here you can see a little bit more the sail being pushed towards the nose of the board. I like this one. This is a nice example. Good day. Wow. Look at those waves. That doesn't happen in Pozo all the time. Let's see if we can get... There was a Josh Angulo wave ride from a long time ago, back when Josh used to compete in Gran Canaria. I wonder if we can find that, because that was beautiful. Used to be on Continent 7. I wonder if they got rid of their archives. Hey, that's me. This is me doing an aerial at Jaws. I wonder why this is showing up. Where's that picture? That's in Madagascar. No-handed Spock. Some skateboarding. It's in Maui. It's in Mexico. I wonder... Backside cutback. I wonder if we can find a backside cutback. Not really. Huh. I wonder if I have some stuff that I could... Let's see. I know this is something we've talked about before, Okay, so I found a video. Let's see if I can upload this. Let's see if I can share this. So I'm going to stop sharing this and open this QuickTime video. All right. No, it doesn't let me. Ay, ay, ay. All right, this is not working. I'm going to upload it to the Facebook group. I mean, I could try one more time. Yeah, for some reason I can't share that video. I've got just a backside video. I'll post it in the group right this second though. And so I'm posting it in the group just as an example of backside riding from me. I don't know what, I didn't actually look at the video. It's a video called backsideriding.mp4. So what it is. This came up in the live coaching. Here is the backside riding video. All right, so it's posting. I don't know if it's going to be up for me to talk about on the live stream, but otherwise you guys can check it out in the Facebook group and we can talk about it there. Yeah, Rasmus talks about the backside tabletop aerial from Ricardo. That's a great. Let's see if we can find that. Tabletop off the lip Ricardo. So here's a photo of it. These are beautiful. I love watching him do these. I wonder if we can find a video of it. All right, here we go. This is something. Whoa, look at that. Tabletop off the lip. Tabletop forward off the lip? What was that? Here's Ricardo using the lip as just a ramp. Tabletop forward off the lip. Sick. Boom. All right, let's see what else is in this video. Is that it? And then a shifty. Very cool. Not exactly what we were talking about, but very cool. Let's see if we can find on Connet 7. Connet 7 used to have more of a... There we go. Here's a tabletop off the lip. I feel like Connet 7 used to have more moves. There's a little tabletop off the lip. The ones that Ricardo does are a lot better, but you can still see the example here. It's cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Here's an Ojos video. No, let's not watch Ojos. This is going to be more front side. Let's watch this. I have no idea what this is. This is from last year. YouTube blocked. Huh. I don't know what's going on with all these things. All right, playing. I'm not screen sharing. You guys, what am I doing? This whole time, I've been searching for these things. All right, so I got to show you this then. So you guys haven't seen anything? So you didn't even see the thing from Ricardo? All right, well, here's this. This is from Antoine Martin, tabletop off the lip. This is what I was talking about. And then there's this video, which I don't even know what it is. We just stumbled across it. It's from Gran Canaria from last year. And we're going to see if there's some onshore wave riding in it. Well, there's definitely onshore wave riding. I mean backside wave riding. There's a nice aerial, super windy. We're going to be going to Gran Canaria with Windsurfing Masterclass. So if this kind of windsurfing gets you excited, you should join one of the masterclasses there. All right. I see a lot of jumps in this video. I don't see a lot of riding. And what we do see is all front side, which is cool. But the backside riding you can do is really amazing. It feels so good, looks good. For some reason, it gets kind of ignored. People really focus on the frontside stuff. But with the onshore winds, it's more natural to go backside, and you can do some amazing, amazing things. Here, it looks like we've got a backside 360 coming up after this jump. Nice double forward. Nice back loop. There's a backside 360. So there's a little bit of backside action here, but honestly, not a lot. All right, like that, we are caught up. So I am going to sign off. If you want to join a masterclass, we're teaching masterclasses. Go to windsurfingmasterclass.com. They are happening in Morocco in June, in Gran Canaria in July, and Maui in September. Also, we are going to do a fitness Zoom. This is open to everyone. It's going to be on Wednesday at 8:30 Central European Time. I'm going to post the link to sign up in the Facebook group right after this. And everyone is welcome. And you can ask your fitness questions, bust your fitness myths. It will be very interesting. And then there will be an option to join some fitness training. So we're partnering with a fitness professional to offer some personalized programs. So if the Zoom is interesting, you decide you want to work with someone going forward, then there's going to be an opportunity for that as well. All right, I am going to sign off. Wish everyone a great night. Remember to post in the Facebook group your photos, questions, comments,